Welcome to episode 1 here on Raven's Haven. Just kidding, because my life is a mess, and today's story is going to show you exactly what I mean. So this is the much anticipated story of how I ran away and joined the circus. So this is a true story from my life, and it all started last summer when I wanted to go on vacation, and so I needed a summer job to save up for said vacation. So I got really lucky. I got a really good opportunity to work for a really cool company that was a traveling circus that was in my city that summer. And I went and I applied. They were hiring for all positions, and I have a lot of experience working in the kitchen, so I figured I would be a shoo-in, right? So they did like a hiring fair, and I went to the hotel where they were doing it at. So the chef wasn't actually there, so I met with another woman who was kind of taking his place, and she was his good friend. So she's telling me, you and the chef are gonna get along so well, I have a good feeling about this, he's funny. And I'm like, hey, I'm funny. I told her I was voted funniest in high school, and at that moment I was like, I'm so lame. But anyway, it worked out. I got a call a few days later, and I got hired by the grace of God, I don't know. And I went in and met this guy, and he was really nice, but he was like, you know, he was older. He told me he had a daughter older than me, and he was like a little bit Shrek looking, but whatever. He was nice. I didn't really care. Whatever. All good. So he makes me his assistant, which is fine by me because I'm getting like mad hours, which is good because that's all going towards my vacation. And then after a little while, he comes and asks me if I want to go on tour with the company. And I'm like, yeah, I want to go on tour with the company. Like, that is so cool. What an amazing opportunity. I felt like so lucky to be asked. And then I kind of thought about it, and I was like, oh, but wait a minute. I got this job to go on vacation. I don't want to just not go on vacation like other people were involved, whatever. And he goes, okay, that's fine. You can go on your vacation and meet us in the next city. Because as I mentioned, it's a traveling circus. They were in my city for a couple months, on to the next one, whatever. So I go on my vacation. It was awesome. And then I came back for like 2 days to go to the dentist and make my way off. So next day I'm going to the airport and I'm leaving my parents, and I just have like not a very good feeling. I don't think I was feeling how I should have been feeling given the situation. Like, I should have been much more happy and excited, but I found that I was just like really sad and like scared. I was supposed to be gone for a really long time, so it was scary, but I just had like negative vibes. I don't know how to explain it, but I was just really sad to go. But I went, and I was going to Winnipeg. That was the next city. Yeah, Winnipeg. I know. But anyway, so I met this really cool girl on the plane, and she was from the next city over, and she was telling me a little bit about the city. It sounded like not as bad as I kind of thought it was gonna be. I don't know. And then she kind of tells me, welcome to Canada's murder capital. And I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? Like, who leaves Montreal to go to Winnipeg? I don't know. What was I thinking? So when I got there, I met up with the chef, and he took me to the hotel where everybody was staying. These were kind of like apartment style hotel rooms. So I go in and he goes, okay, here's the living room, here's the kitchen, here's the roommate's room, and here's the other room. Where do I stay? And he goes, well, you can take the bed and I'll sleep on the floor. And I'm like, Let me tell you how this room is laid out. So the room was like fairly small, and it had a huge bed, okay? So that being said, there was not a lot of floor space. There was just like bed and barely enough room to walk. And I was like, you're not even gonna like fit on the floor, you know? No offense, but and even if you would, like, that's a little way too close for comfort, and I'm not down with that. So I was like, oh, it's fine, I'll just sleep on the couch. And he goes, oh no, you can't do that. So he tells me that he had to tell the company that I'm his girlfriend because that's the only way he could get me on tour, and he knew I really wanted to go on tour. What? So the only reason I really wanted to go on tour was because he told me I could come on tour. You know, if all this was part of it, I would have been fine just not going on tour. You know, if I was never asked, if it was never an idea put in my head, I would have never gone, and that would have been fine, you know? But anyway, so I'm kind of like, nobody's gonna believe I'm your girlfriend. This is crazy. I don't know. So he tells me that I can't sleep on the couch because the roommate is gonna see me and he's gonna know we're not together and he's gonna tell the company and then we're all gonna get fired. So I'm like, sorry, like, I'm not gonna sleep with you. I don't know what to tell you, like, not my problem, you know? So we stayed in the living room for a while, and it was kind of like a very civil argument back and forth about, I'll just sleep on the couch, no, you can't just sleep on the couch, I'll just sleep on the couch, you can't, I'm gonna get fired, da 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 da. And after a little while, I was like, I mean, I was pretty uncomfortable from the start, but after a little while I told him, okay, I'm just gonna go out in the hall and make a phone call. So I go and I call my parents, but when I got in the hall, it was, you know, just like doors to people's rooms. So I decided to go in the stairwell because I didn't really want people to hear my situation. So when I'm in the stairway, I call my parents and I'm like freaking out, and my parents are like, oh my god. So they just tell me, you know, try and calm down, like just figure something out for tonight. If anything happens, call us, you know, if you need help, call us, whatever. So while I'm on the phone with my parents, this guy is blowing up my phone. And I see it's him. He's like, where are you? Is everything okay? And I think he called me too. And I'm like, what is this guy's deal? Like, I told him I'm just making a phone call. So I go back into the room when I'm done. And I'm like, what's up, you know? And he's like, where did you go? I told him I was just making a phone call. And he's like, yeah, but you said you would be in the hall and I went and checked on you and you weren't in the hall. Where were you? Like, is everything okay? And I was like, but like, why did you have to check on me? Kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know what that was about. After that, things kind of worked out. We figured it out. He slept on the couch. I slept in the bed. Whatever. All good. So the next day I go to work and it's my first day in the new city and I'm starting to meet some more of the permanent staff. And there's this one girl, and I think that she knew I wasn't dating this guy and she was trying to bait me into like letting the cat out of the bag, because she kept asking me questions like, what made you fall in love with him? And I'm like, ugh, gross, like, oh, I can't. So at this point I was like, nope, gotta go home. I decided that I wanted to stay for about a month just to make enough money so that it was worth me going all the way out there. It wasn't like a wasted trip, because when I went back home I would be jobless. So that was the plan. When I went to Winnipeg, I was no longer working side by side with the chef. I had, the company had given me like a different position, whatever, that was cool. So I was working with different people and I wasn't really seeing the chef in the day, which was good because I was so mad at him because of the whole me supposed to be his girlfriend and can't sleep on the couch deal. I wanted nothing to do with him. I didn't want to talk to him. Like, we got along pretty well before, but I was like, not down, like, bye. And so that night I went back to the hotel. I think he was already asleep in the bedroom, so I just slept on the couch, whatever, it was fine. And then the next day he had told me that the roommate's boss spoke to him about people sleeping on the couch, and so we can't be doing that anymore. And I'm like, why does the roommate's boss care where I sleep? Like, it's none of his business. But that being said, like, I'm still not gonna sleep with you, so I don't know. I don't know what he was expecting, but I don't think I lived up to his hopes and dreams or whatever. I don't know. The night after that, I came back from work and I had a friend that used to live in Winnipeg, so she kind of knew the area, and I was on the phone with her and she was like, oh, where exactly are you? And I told her, I don't really know, I'm on this street and I don't know. So I told her, let me go walk to the corner and I'll let you know what it is, because I just want to kill time anyway. So I walk to the corner, I tell her where I'm at, and she goes, oh, I know that area really well. I used to live right near there. So she asked me if I want to go for a walk, and I'm like, yes, I would love that. Anything to keep me out. So my plan was kind of to stay out all night, and my friend walked me around. She told me where to go, turn here, turn there, and eventually I found like a 24-hour donut shop. I went in, I got something to eat, and I sat around. I was trying to loiter and kill time and whatever. And there was an old man in there that I think maybe owned the place, I'm not totally sure, but he was talking to everybody coming in and out, and he asked me, how are you tonight? And I was like, I'm so tired. It was probably about 1 a.m. by now, and I was just like wandering the streets. So he tells me, oh, if you want, you can just come over here and close your eyes, and I'm like, oh, thank you. So I go to another table, I close my eyes, all good. I wake up a couple hours later. I think it's about 4 a.m. now, and there are people at other tables, but it's nothing like weird or suspicious, except there are these two guys talking to each other at opposite tables, and they keep talking about how they recognize each other, but they don't know from where. So finally this one guy goes, well, actually I just got out, so. And the first guy goes, oh, that's where I recognize you from. And I'm just here like, I gotta get out of here. So I figure that I'm sitting here with convicted criminals, and this is not the place I want to be in murder capital of Canada. Just me, I don't know. So these guys notice I'm awake, and they start talking to me a little bit, asking me what I'm doing around here. And I tell them, well, I came up from work from out of town, and I don't want to stay in my hotel because this guy is kind of weird and I'm not really down for that. And so this one guy, he's like, oh, how about I put you up in a hotel for tonight? And I'm like, oh no, thanks, like I don't want any ties to this person, you know, so I just tell him thank you, that's very nice, but no thanks. And then he goes, oh, what if I come down to your hotel with you and I talk to Buddy for you? And I'm like, okay, no, like thank you, but like I don't need him dead or anything, you know? I don't know what this guy's thinking, but anyway. So then both him and the other convicted criminal start pulling out like weed and whatever, and they start rolling it. And this guy's asking me like, hey, do you smoke? Do you want to come smoke with us? And I'm like, oh, no, really, that's okay, not interested. So finally they're ready, and they go out by one door to smoke, and I figure this is my time to go. So I escape by another door. I realized while filming this that this is a pretty long story. So instead of having you sit here for like the rest of your day, I'm gonna put it into 2 parts. So this concludes part 1 for today, and if you want to see part 2 and how this story ends,